Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday, and the astute among you might have noticed that this is a different background. And so we have excitedly moved house. So thank you for everyone who prayed for us. I know it was very much a team effort for everyone who's praying, but it went really smoothly. And so thought for the days are now coming from a different location.
Yeah.
Ooh. So today's thought is coming from Luke chapter 15. Verses 11 to the end, and Gemma is going to read that.
Then Jesus said, "Once there was a father with 2 sons. The younger son came to his father and said, 'Father, don't you think it's time to give me the share of your estate that belongs to me?' So the father went ahead and distributed among the 2 sons their inheritance. Shortly afterward, the younger son packed up all his belongings and travelled off to see the world. He journeyed to a far-off land where he soon wasted all what he was given in a binge of extravagant and reckless living. With everything spent and nothing left, he grew hungry, for there was a severe famine in the land. So he begged a farmer in that country to hire him. The farmer hired him and sent him out to feed the pigs. The son was so famished he was willing to even eat the slop given to the pigs because no one would feed him a thing. Humiliated, the son finally realized what he was doing, and he thought, 'There are many workers at my father's house who all have food and all have the food they want with plenty to spare. They lack nothing. Why am I here dying of hunger, feeding these pigs and eating their slop? I want to go back home to my father's house, and I'll say to him, Father, I was wrong. I have sinned against you. I'll never be worthy to be called your son. Please, Father, just treat me like one of your employees.' So the young son set off for home. From a long distance away, his father saw him coming, dressed as a beggar, and great compassion swelled up in his heart for his son who was returning home. So the father raced out to meet him. He swept him up in his arms, hugged him dearly, and kissed him over and over with tender love. Then the son said, 'Father, I was wrong. I've sinned against you. I could never deserve to be called your son. Just let me be.' And the father interrupted and said, 'Son, you're home now.' Turning to his servants, the father said, 'Quick, bring me the best robe, my very own robe, and I'll place it on his shoulders. Bring me the ring, the seal of sonship, and I'll put it on his finger. And bring out the best shoes you can find for my son. Let's prepare a great feast and celebrate. For this beloved son of mine was once dead, but now he is alive again. He was lost, and now he is found.' And everyone celebrated, overflowing with joy. Now the older son was working out in the field when his brother returned, and as he approached the house, he heard the music of celebration and dancing. He called over one of his servants and asked, 'What's going on?' The servant replied, 'It's your younger brother. He's returned home, and your father is throwing a party to celebrate his homecoming.' The older son became angry and refused to go in and celebrate. So his father came out and pleaded with him, 'Come and enjoy the feast with us.' The son said, 'Father, listen, how many years have I been working like a slave for you, performing every duty you've asked as a faithful son, and I've never once disobeyed you. But you've never thrown a party for me because of my faithfulness. Never once have you given me a goat that I could feast on and celebrate with my friends like he's doing now. But look at this son of yours. He comes back after wasting your wealth on prostitutes and reckless living. And here you are throwing a great feast to celebrate for him.' The father said, 'My son, you are always with me by my side. Everything I have is yours to enjoy. It's only right to celebrate like this and be overjoyed because this brother of yours was once dead and gone, but now he is alive and back with us again. He was lost, but now he is found.'" So this is a very familiar story to all of us. And we've heard amazing preachers, amazing retellings of this story. And it's really hard to find think of anything original to say unless we start repeating what everyone else has said. Yet what actually it is talking about is so important to just retell over and over. But what we're going to do is retell it from our point of view, from 20-something millennials in 2020 who don't have children.
So, the younger son is given his inheritance from his wealthy dad, and he wastes it. He finds himself homeless and hungry and decides to come back home, begging to work for the family business.
Meanwhile, as all this goes on in the son's life, he must be thinking about what his dad thought of him. My stupid son, wishing I was dead, taking all my money. Why couldn't he be like his older brother, obedient, faithful, sensible, with a good job and a lovely wife?
He makes the long walk back home, thinking of a speech about how he can convince his dad to work for the business. Convince him how he's worth hiring. He's been a terrible son, but maybe, just maybe, if he argues passionately enough, he'll get the job.
He sees his dad from a long way off sitting in the front garden and he panics. What if he won't take me back? What if this? What if that? What about this? What about that? But as he panics, his dad sees him in the distance. He leaps out of his chair and runs down the road, still in his tight suit from work, and hugs his lost son. He throws a party, there's a big celebration, and the whole neighbourhood come out to celebrate.
Now, if I was the younger son, I'd be thinking about how disappointed my parents would be, how stupid I've been and how just reckless with their money, basically. It would have taken me a lot of guts to go home and to sort of face them, to admit I was wrong, and it would just be a very scary thing to do. This said, I know I'd be welcomed back with open arms. My mum always says to me, when you're a dad, you'll understand, as she wells up thinking about us getting a house and even unpacking our food into the cupboard.
And while I'm sure this is absolutely true, it's really interesting to me that we've only heard this parable through the eyes of parents. And so perhaps actually it's easier for us to understand what it's like to be the son in the parable. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes and we follow our own paths from time to time, when we know we should be following God's way. But when we do mess up, do we spend weeks and weeks thinking about our terrible decisions, how annoyed God must be at us, and plan a speech begging him to let us home, like the son in the parable? Or do the parents among you, or the parents among us, start that one again, shall we? Do the parents among you recognise what you would do for your children is what God would do for us, but only more?
So, in essence then, what we're sort of like thinking about is, do we come to God with the attitude of the son, or do we come running home to him as he would want us to? So hopefully this has been an interesting and helpful telling of what it's like to read this as a 20-something millennial who doesn't have any children. I'm sure it would be a different meaning when I'm a parent, as my mum says. And if you have found this interesting or helpful, then there's a brilliant sketch by the Skit guys about this, and it's just looking at the father and the son and their relationship as their sort of part, and they're telling the story. So that will be left in the description, so please have a look at that, and have a good week. See you later.
Bye!